Give the young one, give the young one up. Set the old one, set the old one free.
For the first time in one of these Shaking Through sessions, there was actual difficulty getting started. In the weeks leading up, as I was speaking with Daniel and I was talking to Kim, they were pretty intent on doing one song. Daniel had worked out a lot of parts for it in his mind.
It's like, okay, I have to go in here and, produce the song for these people, and I really want to make sure that I'm not just coming in there and floundering. So I was like, okay, well, I picked the song, I know the parts I want to try, like I know what I want to do with this, and we just scrapped it entirely. I'm like, never mind, just did something else.
The first thing we did on Again was set up Kim in the live room with an acoustic guitar and a scratch vocal, just so we can get the skeleton of the song down. From the very beginning, it was kind of hard for me to make a judgment with how everything was going to play together, because the band didn't even know what was finally or ultimately going to end up on this track.
Okay, so I just want to know, before I go into how much more do you guys want? How many more?
Just add on something that feels natural in the instrumental part.
I just did what felt natural, but I mean, I can just put 8 in or something.
Yeah, just start one more and then see where it ends,
After Kim's scratch guitar and vocal, Jonny laid down his Chromar CPB2, which is an analog synth, but they're foot pedals that look a lot like the foot pedals of an organ. After we started laying down some lap steel takes, things sounded a little bit strange. People were like, well, maybe Scott's playing a little bit out of tune.
Did it sound really out of tune to you guys?
Yeah, we were hearing that too.
I can't tell if it's that the acoustic is out of tune, because it is a little bit, or if
oh shit, that's good.
We're pretty far into the day, and so far we've got an out of tune scratch guitar and vocal, a really minimal bass track, and a lot of lap steel takes that we don't really know what to do with.
Should we do that? What's the... Oh, I'm lost out here.
That's scary, We only have a really short period of time to do this. That said, the things that happened that made us realize this was now working happened like that.
It's definitely a lot fatter than it was before. Yeah. Daniel had an idea. He was like, hey, can we set up the drum kit really quickly? He prefaced it though. He's like, look, I'm not a drummer. I'm going to sit here and try this out. Threw up 3 mics, Coles on the overhead, 57 on the snare, D112 on the kick, and it was just a kick and a snare, and everyone was like, wow, this feels really good.
As soon as Daniel laid down that simple drum track, the clarity of the song just became apparent and it just started to work. I mean, he's a guy who can play guitar. He can play things with complexity and lots of nuance. But it's just so awesome that he ends up just playing the simplest drum track and the simplest tambourine track, and how it actually enabled the whole day to go forward. That's an incredible contribution on his part.
And you watch this place go wide.
Alan from Telefunken Electroacoustic hooked us up again and sent us a bunch of incredible Telefunken mics. For this episode, being able to use those mics is all the more incredible because it's such a sparse song. You're going to hear every inch of those microphones.
Early on in the day, we cut a demo version of the song and we tossed up the U47. Everyone was like, oh, this is going to be great. This sounds awesome. Kim's voice sounds amazing. Later on, when we did the scratch vocal where Kim was playing the guitar, I threw up the Telefunken Elam 251, and the U47 was kind of the unanimous decision. It was just really fitting for her voice. It made it sound really huge, and that ran through the DW Fern VT2 and the VT7. We weren't quite sure how to finish the song, so the last verse, where the band cuts out, is actually the scratch guitar and scratch vocal take that Kim originally put down. And if you're listening closely, there's a decent amount of bleed from the acoustic guitar. Like, that's only one mic, that's just the vocal mic. And that was a pretty, last minute decision. We were like, maybe we can make this work. And that's how the song ends, is with her scratch vocal.
I think it was a really good learning experience, if nothing else, for everyone. And I think the song came out cool. And certainly what I really liked about it is it ended up being something that I had no idea it was going to be.
There's a lot of preparation that people should have coming into recordings, but there's also too much. This might have erred on the side of not quite enough, but I personally am almost happier to err on that side than on the overthought, overprepared, potentially sterilized approach, So even though it was hard, it's great that it happened this way. And look at the results, it's beautiful.
Red